so much. I apologize for sitting down. I figured out I had more time if I sit down. My family's been fighting for South Carolina for a long time. You know, South Carolina, more battles in the American Revolution were fought here in South Carolina, and South Carolina won the war for us. We'll win the next war, and the next war is in Washington. And Washington needs South Carolina. I will be humbled and gratified if you send me to be your representative. I am a Reagan conservative. My husband was a Reagan appointee. We paid the price for our beliefs, and they haven't changed. The price we paid as conservative academics is it's very hard to find a job, and how lucky we are to be in the upstate of South Carolina, where even the colleges have a few conservatives. The Reagan principles are still sound. Lower taxes. Oh my gosh. Death taxes are going to triple under this Congress. All of our taxes are going to go up, and we're going to get that subtle tax where every dollar is devalued by inflation. Regulations. Reagan believed in getting government off our backs. Obamacare is government in the hospital room, in the doctor's office, and in our homes, in our nursing homes. It's going to affect every aspect of our lives. And it's bureaucracy and regulation. The doctor-patient relationship will end, and the doctors will flee. There's plenty of evidence that that's the thinking of doctors, and I know doctors, even with debt, who are going to quit. And finally, Reagan wanted to beat the communists. Oh my gosh, they're back. Seriously, folks, it's not just socialism. There are real live people in Washington with a preference for communism over the free enterprise system that has made America strong and great and free. So send me, and I'll be fighting for you, for our values, for what we believe, which is Judeo-Christian beliefs, capitalism, free enterprise, personal responsibility, and a preference for the local over the national solution. Most problems are local. And if we can get the government off our back and stop sucking all our money and sending it to Washington and then trickling it back to us with all kinds of requirements, then we will be a rich and happy people. We did it before, we can do it again. I know you all know people who say, I'm out of here, I'm going to Chile, I'm going to Argentina, I'm going to Panama. No, the fight starts here. We have to really save the world.
Thank you.
We really do.
We're fighting a two-front war. This is a dead serious time in American history. It is not play. It's not just gamesmanship. It is our future, and I mean our future not for our children, but for us. First, the war that is being fought is against a socialism that is invaded. It's already been there for a long time, but now it's in full force in Washington, D.C. We've got to take over again. But when we take over, and we will take over, that pendulum's going to come back, but it can't be with the Congress, a Republican Congress that we've had, that sort of pity paddles this issue of government spending. It was the Congress of Bush, I hate to say it, he was my choice, that began the momentum to take us from a $5 trillion budget on its way in 2 years probably to over $18 trillion. From a budget writing perspective, you can't pay the interest on that unless you continue to increase the deficit. Then it's a continual cycle and it goes faster and faster. You can't come back from it. Hyperinflation, continual recession, possible dips into depression, and it can go on for years and years. We have to take over Congress. I love Christina's alluding to Reagan, my hero. We have to bring a radical Reagan conservatism back to Congress, and the Republicans have to control that, and it has to bring spending under control. It's going to be tough decisions. We're going to have to go after all kinds of things, cut back all kinds of ways to reduce the amount of spending to get the debt down. And so that's the first and most important thing immediately on the horizon. The second thing, second part of the two-front war is we see in Iran, we see attacks on America coming, and if we don't handle that correctly, we're going to find ourselves in a nuclear war because Ahmadinejad is chomping at the bit to do something to attack our ally Israel. We've got to defend Israel and make sure through sanctions and anything else we can come up with to make sure that does not get out of control. Those three rogue nations really can bring disaster to the world. So those two things we have to focus on. I have the energy, I have background, if you're interested in background, and understanding of how government works, to know how those bureaucrats try to trick and cheat and do things to us, and that's what they're doing. Get control of that in the United States so we can maintain and be a potent force to fight that other front war that will dominate America with radical Islam and bring the world into something we've never seen before. It's a scary thought, and we have to confront it boldly, and you have to have bold leadership to do it. I am chomping at the bits to get there to participate in the fight. That's where the real battleground is right now.
Thank you. Representative Binkley.
Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. What we've heard tonight, I think, is an awful lot of agreement. Actually, what we've got is a conversation among Republicans about how to get back to the exciting days of the Republican Revolution in 1994. The interesting thing about the other elected officials up here is I've actually served a lot shorter time in office continually. Trey's been in office 10 solid years. David Thomas has been in office 20-something years. And I, at most, served 6 years, then I was out 6 years, and now just finished 5 back. And in that time, what I saw is a change in our majority. Now, having been there for the original majority, I know what it takes to get back to that. And so it's an exciting time for us as Republicans with some fresh thoughts and capitalizing on this willingness now to have this discussion about the general interest. So it's a very exciting time for us as Republicans. I think the thing that's different about us is, do you like Reagan or do you like Buchanan? And you know, I'll take a risk here because you're not supposed to speak, make somebody mad about not liking somebody. But I definitely choose Reagan. Reagan was the guy who faced 21% crime rate and Jimmy Carter's malaise. He said it's morning in America. Along comes Pat Buchanan, who wrote speeches for Ronald Reagan, and he never won an election. Could never put people together to cause him to vote for him. So the question is, are we Republicans going to be people who can put people together and say, come on, be with us. We can create that fervor, that zeal, that excitement of our majority in 1994, and we can win the hearts and minds of the American people to conservatism? Or are we going to be people who snarl and make bad noises at people and criticize and just constantly harp? Is that what we want to be? Or do we want to be positive change agents who win the hearts and minds of the American people? That's what I think we should be about. That's the exciting opportunity here in the 4th District. And I hope you give me the opportunity to do that. Because these, I believe, are my most prepared and productive years ahead. With your help, I think we can lead out of this recession from right here in South Carolina's 4th District.
Thank you. Now's the time you can make some noise.
I want to thank each of you for coming tonight.